What's going on, guys? I've got here a 2006 Nissan Altima, and I'm using this car to show you the location of the fuel pump relay, the fuel pump fuse. I'll also show you how you can access the fuel pump and check the electrical connectors to it. So to start with, under the hood here, there's a fuse box cover, and we've got to get this pulled up. There's a tab here on the front of it that you pull up on, and there's going to be a tab here on the other side that you've got to reach down in here and get disconnected. That's going to show us our this is a combo fuse box slash computer, and we get this pulled up by pushing in on this tab here while we lift up, and there's an identical tab here on the other side. Works in the same way. I like to use my finger to push the tab up and over. Now with this pulled up here, we can find the fuel pump relay is going to be this relay down here at the bottom, the one in the middle. And a great way to troubleshoot that relay is to tap on it. Sometimes relays can get stuck, and by tapping on the relay while someone's trying to turn the car over, you can make it possibly start working again. Further troubleshooting beyond that, we can pull this relay out, set it aside, and we can swap in a different relay. All of these smaller relays are the same part number. So a great thing to swap in would possibly be maybe your low beam relay. If your low beams work, you know your low beam relay works. And so if you swap in your low beam relay and your fuel pump is still not working, well, then you know it's not the relay. Now there is a fuse for the fuel pump as well. It's this 15 amp fuse right here. I'll go ahead and pull it out, show you what a good fuse is supposed to look like here. So that's what your fuse should look like. You can see it's not broken on the inside. There's a little bit of a corrosion on the fuse though, and that could cause issues. But for now, let's go and reinstall it. Now let's say you've checked your fuse and your relay and you're not having any luck. Well, let's take a look at the fuel pump wiring itself, and I'll show you how to access the fuel pump if you want to change it. So we're gonna move back to the back of the car here. And I took the liberty of removing the seat. Quite easy. You just reach in through the front and pull upward. And you'll do that on either side. The seat will pop up in the front, slide out, and then you can set it aside. Now this, behind this cover, that's the fuel pump access cover. And I'll show you how to remove it. Now, what everyone does when they first get here is they'll instinctively grab a Phillips screwdriver, they'll throw it in here, and then they'll crank it to the left. Because lefty-loosey, right? Well, that's not the case on this. You're actually supposed to rotate these to the right. So each one gets rotated to the right. And in the event that you strip the plastic, it's not a big deal, because you can actually, you don't even need to use a Phillips. You can just use pliers to grab and rotate it. And at this point, the cover will pop up, revealing the top of the fuel pump. Now, taking a look at the connector, we've got a 4-pin connector. And to disconnect it, you push down here, you'll hear it clicking, and then you can slide this out. You'll want to inspect and make sure that you don't have any burnt terminals. And oh, it's actually a 5-pin connector. So as far as the wiring goes, some of this wiring is for the fuel level sensor, which is not really important for the car to run. The power that comes off of the fuel pump relay comes through on a black-yellow wire. So that's looking like it's going to be this one right here, the black-yellow. That carries the power from the fuel pump relay. And of course there needs to be a ground as well. The ground comes from that center wire, the black wire there. So the power and the ground are required for that fuel pump to run. Now, if you want to change this fuel pump, let's see you're getting power and ground here, but the fuel pump's not putting out any pressure. It's real simple to do. You've got to disconnect these lines. You do that by, you actually push the line in, you pinch this piece, and then you slide this back. So I'll show you again. This one, actually, this one's a little different. I'm pushing this one in, and I squeeze this and I slide it outward. So kind of difficult for me to do with one hand. but you get the idea there. And then finally, there's a collar, this metal, the stamped sheet metal collar. I've used a hammer and a flathead screwdriver. You just put the flathead screwdriver and hammer on the back of it around. You want this to be rotating counterclockwise. And after you rotate it enough, it will just pop out, at which point you can grab the assembly and just pull it up and out. So yeah, I hope that this information was helpful for you. At the very least, was a good starting point in troubleshooting the fuel pump on your Altima. Please do let me know if you guys have any questions or if you have any advice. And thanks for watching.